when you're taking radical responsibility in any area of life, you have that control as to how you're actually going to overcome the challenges or how you're actually going to get closer to your goal.
I'm George Markowski and welcome to the Positive Property Show. Our mission is to empower 10,000 people to create financial freedom through property using the Markowski method. Join us.
Hello, Freedom Fighters. Welcome to our Thursday Night Live. Great to have you here. Awesome stuff. We've got the lovely Charmaine. Hello. Welcome. Fantastic. So, guys, I hope you've had a great week. Now, just to let you know, obviously, this is George's opportunity to have his live and ask George anything. But George is still, how do we say, composed at this moment. He's still away. How do we say it as very PC instead of like he's on his back still?
But his mind is still there, and that is the main thing. So he's keeping us on track. His mind's
still there, guys. His body's not 100%, but he's getting there. So guys, I'm sorry we can't have George, but that's okay. And Christina was going to run this as well, but she's not feeling too well as well, so all good. Tonight, our topic is radical responsibility regarding your financial freedom. What does that mean? What does it mean? Okay, so realistically tonight we're going to be talking about radical responsibility. And look, radical responsibility is one of our big values here at Positive Property. And we're going to go through those values. So we're going to just talk about our values because our values are the real backbone of everything we believe, our mindset, what we stand for, everything at Positive Property. So the word is actually called HEART, and we use the HEART acronym. And H stands for have fun, because I don't know about you, but we're here for a good time and a long time, so we might as well enjoy ourselves. And E is you go for it. You give me the E, Charmaine. We know this like the back of our hands.
Everybody wins. We're always looking for a win-win here at Positive Property for our staff, for our members, for our community. It's so important for us.
Absolutely, 100%. And everybody does win, the community, our members, as exactly what Charmaine said. And A is authentic and no BS.
Correct. We don't have any BS here at Positive Property. And you know yourself, when you're in that state of authenticity, that's where you have the most growth. And if you're in our community and you're wanting to be your best version of yourself, the only way you're going to get there is by being authentic. So it's really key when you're looking at being your best version.
Absolutely. And on the count of three, what does the R stand for? 1, 2, 3.
Radical responsibility.
And that's what we're going to go through. That's it, exactly right. And we're going to go through that tonight because it's a real big backbone. But then obviously we've got T, the last T, which is thankful and grateful. Thankful for, for everything, and I know that we're in really
for yourself, for each other. When you have that mindset of gratefulness and thankfulness, it starts to build what I call a bit of resilience, which means when challenges start to arise, because you're living perpetually in thankfulness and gratefulness, the challenges kind of slide off like water off a duck's back because, you have that resilience through being grateful and thankful, in all areas of your life.
Absolutely. And, we're going through some crazy times at the moment, but, we're not in a war. We're not in a famine. We might be, I know that Melbourne and Sydney are in lockdown. I'm up in Queensland at the moment. And, I'm very grateful for my freedom because I was living down in Melbourne, through all the lockdowns. So I know what you guys are going through and I totally get it. And I've been there. And, it's just always being grateful every day. Even if you've got nothing to be grateful, go out and get some sunshine and fresh air. We should be grateful for that. Absolutely. So let's talk about radical responsibility. What does it mean? What does it mean regarding your financial freedom? Okay. So when we mean radical responsibility, what does that mean? Do you want to have a go, Charmaine?
Yeah, it means you Radical responsibility means that do whatever it takes and recognizing that you are at cause. So, when you're taking radical responsibility in any area of life, you have that control as to how you're actually going to overcome the challenges, or how you're actually going to get closer to your goal, or whatever it is that you're looking to achieve.
Absolutely. Having that, taking responsibility of everything that happens. Like, you can blame the neighbor, you can blame your boss, you can blame this, you can blame that. But look, as soon as you stop and actually take full responsibility, you'd be surprised. It actually gives you a lot of freedom. It really does.
Yeah. And also when you take that responsibility, it starts to open up more choices and other ways that you can start to think about, well, okay, if I'm at cause here, what steps can I take to overcome this short-term challenge, and be able to navigate another pathway?
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. And look, that's really important. But radical responsibility means, you really do make the effort to create your world.
Yeah.
That's really, what it comes down to. And you have to be at the cause of that, exactly what Charmaine said. And it's really important for your own development. You can't sit there, and if you don't want to be, want the best body at the gym, you can't just sit there and, expect a trainer's going to do it. You're at your cause to actually get that trainer, but also follow through with that program, but also going home and the healthy habits home. That's really important, because there's no point going to the gym and then coming home and having Maccas. I mean, that's not congruent.
Yeah.
So by having radical responsibility, it does give you a lot of freedom, but it puts you in the front of the cause, and that's really super important.
Yeah.
Now we had are you able to bring up our little slide that we had that we were going to talk about?
I'm going to do my best,
guys.
Linda. Let's see how we can do this.
Maccas. Someone laughed at the Maccas comment. Yep, you can't go training and then do Maccas. Hello. Well, you can, but you'd probably be sick, but it's not congruent.
Let's see if we can bring it up. It's not allowing me to press the next step to share it.
So we've got George and Christina, maybe they're watching us. Maybe we can get the tools next time so we know how to. Oh, here we go. No. Oh, yeah.
No.
Keep going. You can actually. Can you bring up your slide? Because you're in your menu.
In my
go
menu.
up to your slide. Go up to your slide. See up the top there. You've got all your menu bar at the top.
Yeah.
Great. So can you bring up that slide by any chance?
Can you see that, Linda?
Yeah, there we go. We're in. Woo-hoo! So guys, awesome. Woo! Hey, we're learning here. Stick with us, guys. Stick with us. Okay. So guys, this is a pyramid. This was done by the Australian Census. So this is 100 Australians at the age of 65. Now, this is really fascinating, guys. So at the age of 65, we've got 100 Australians in front of us. So down the bottom, we've got approximately 15 just won't make it. And we know what that means, guys, don't we? We don't need to spell it out, but they're no longer with us. And they've gone on to mighty heaven, the old, the gates up there. They're saying hello there. So the reality is they won't make it. Now, 74% or 74 of those 100 will be dependent on welfare. Okay,
correct.
Guys, that's a massive chunk out of that 100. Now, 7 must work to survive. 3 are financially secure, and 1 will be wealthy. So, guys, if you're sitting here chatting, where would you like to be on that pyramid? Like, really?
At the top.
Top, number 1. Now, guys, this is age 65.
Yeah.
So the reality is, we are the cause of everything. And it's so important that, it's the decisions you make now that can really map out your future, and really have rippling effects. On the top, baby. Yeah, thank you very much. Number 1. Love it, love it, love it. Excellent. So realistically, if you're in the same mindset of us, I mean, I'd like to be on top of the number one, to be quite honest, but that's a bit of work to do. George is going to have to get me a heap of more properties. Look, the whole idea is, I mean, look, realistically for me, I want to be wealthy, but I also want to have abundance. And with that abundance, I want to just give back.
Yeah. And it gives that lifestyle,
I want to be able to,
freedom of choice, Belinda, doesn't it, as well?
it's freedom of choice. It means, I mean, one of my favorite motivational speaker, Jim Rohn, I know I've mentioned him before, but the reality is one of his major goals was he wanted to make as much money that when he got to a stage of retirement, he gave half of it away and he was still very wealthy, and half of it to charities and all that kind of stuff. So, that was his big goal, work to a certain point and then just give half of it away. And that's amazing. So, guys, when we're talking about radical responsibility, you are at the cause. And it's really important now to start really investing in yourself if you haven't done it yet. And that can be on lots of different levels. I mean, we talk about goals, and we've done a goal session before on this segment, on this live, regarding, look, if you don't have goals, guys, and if they're not written, they're not real. So get a piece of paper out and look, have your segments of your life. There's 7 areas of life. And it's really, really important to have those goals written down, because it's like if you don't have goals, you're like a boat without a rudder. You really are.
And smart goals as well.
Correct. And I mean, if you look at that pyramid at the moment, guys, like, I don't know about you, but that's here in Australia. That's pretty scary to think that that pyramid is, based on the Australian census, and that, it's just crazy, So maybe, that's hopefully a real eye-opener to kind of pull your finger out and do something about your life if you're not doing it, because you're at the cause, and radical responsibility means you have to get out there and do it. No one's going to come up. No one's, you've got to do it. And, I was talking on a radio station recently, and we were talking about, what things motivate and all that kind of stuff. And, I think it's really important to have a mentor. Sometimes it's good to have a mentor that you can look up to, and, all these kind of things. But you need to really sit down and work out what you want in life and what your future looks like. Because if you can kind of sit down and work out that plan of action now and have that blueprint, that's going to help guide you in the future. It really is. Now, who's in charge of writing and doing that blueprint? Who's in charge of it? It's you. You're in charge.
Yeah.
You're in charge. Absolutely. And someone's just written, the age-old pension is still $535 per week. Unbelievable. So we can't seem to bring those questions up, but it's okay, guys. We're gonna talk about the questions as they come up. So guys, look, there we go. Thank you very much, Charmaine. So the age-old pension. That's crazy, isn't it? 500. I mean, look, I've been out for dinner with a couple of friends and spent more than that in a dinner. Sorry,
wow.
So guys, you're at the cause of things, and if you don't start sitting down and working out your blueprint, life will go past. Life will go past you, seriously. And before you know it, you've had 5 years, and then you're sitting back going, "Oh, I wish I did this." Don't be a gunner. Gunners get you nowhere. You need to sit down and work this stuff out. Who's in charge? Who's in charge? You are. Absolutely. And that's what we're talking about with radical responsibility. Now, we've got 4,000 members in our community, but we've got, 2,500 members in our membership who actually get coached. Now, the reality for them is that some people out there, they just don't have the time to go out and do everything what they do, so they get a mentor.
Correct.
It's really important. Absolutely.
And the great thing about mentors as well is they can help you to stay accountable. Sometimes It's nice to have that accountability buddy that checks in with you to say, "Hey, have you actioned X, Y, and Z?" If not, and if not, why? To really help motivate you. That's why we get personal trainers when we want to get a fit body. They keep us accountable. They make sure that we show up. They make sure we're doing our routine, and they'll check in and say, how's your diet going? You know, how is this going? They help you to stay on track, you know, particularly when it comes to keeping your
Absolutely.
mindset and getting you closer to your goals.
Absolutely. And let me ask anyone that's listening now, if you were to retire at 65, will your superannuation be enough for your retirement? Serious question. Will it be enough?
Yeah.
You know, because look, for me, I was one of those people, I was a contractor. And as a contractor running my own business, I never paid my super. So the whole idea is, you know, it's so important to start thinking about your future. Now, the beautiful thing is I have property now, so that's my retirement.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that was
someone
the
written,
same.
it's good to have a really supportive team.
Certainly.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's why my partner and I, we got into property investing, because when we watched a video that showed us the statistics around superannuation, and we really started to think about, okay, if Federico and I work for X amount of years, how much super are we actually going to have? We were really surprised that we weren't going to have enough super to continue to live a really comfortable lifestyle. And that was the biggest prompting point for us to start thinking about our future and go, okay, well, what are our options? How are we going to, you know, get more money for our superannuation fund and retirement? Are we going to be able to save
Absolutely.
more money? You know, looking at the savings, we realized that even if we saved and was really careful with our budget, even the savings and the superannuation was still not going to be enough. And then when we
Correct.
started exploring property and property investing, that was like the big aha moment. It was like, okay, so now for us to have a certain amount of money for our retirement, we could actually clearly see that if we started investing in property, we would easily reach that goal within 10 years. Even what was the most exciting part was that my partner could retire sooner if we continue to follow an investment strategy. And that was even exciting because it was like, now we don't actually have to wait until the retirement age. Now we have this new option, this new opportunity that my partner can retire
Correct.
early. And he's in construction.
Absolutely.
He's on tools. So anything to get him out and off the tools for his own health and well-being. I mean, that was like a big light bulb moment. And I tell you what, we're so glad we're on the property journey now, because now we can actually
Absolutely.
see we're going to have a beautiful, comfortable, more than comfortable retirement on our investment strategy with property. And on top of that, he'll be able to retire earlier. So,
Yep. And look, absolutely. And that's a great, that's exactly what we're talking about. And look, okay, so this is the old school, guys. The old school is, yeah, you go to school, you get your skills, you get a job, 9 to 5, you buy a home, you spend your whole life paying off your mortgage, you spend big majority. That's the toughest thing you'll ever pay off. Then you go into retirement. Guess what you've got? Little tiny bit of super. How long is that going to last? Now, absolutely. Maybe on average 5 years. So what's the next thing that they go to sell? The home that they've spent 30 years trying to pay off.
That's right.
You know, it's absolutely unbelievable. And then once you weigh up super versus inflation, I mean, realistically, how much money have you really got? You've worked this whole life. And someone's just written that. Inflation. Yep, super versus inflation.
That's right.
On one step. Whoever wrote that, they're a step of the head. They're a step of the gun. Fantastic. So then we've got a question that just came in. How much money should your real estate portfolio turn over per net year, and how much assets should you have in a portfolio? 5 mil? Well, yeah, I mean, 5 million, definitely. So look, ideally, to have a portfolio where you've kind of on that 5 million mark, you should be on around, anywhere from $200,000 to $250,000 passive income per year. So that's just money for getting out of bed. So what's passive income, guys? Money you make when you're sleeping. And what that money is your money working for you. And, we've talked about it before in a lot of our workshops and a lot of our lives, but I haven't heard safe as Bitcoin. I haven't heard safe as shares, but I've definitely heard safe as houses. The great idea, absolutely. And Charmaine, you did you did a podcast and a live with our super expert.
Correct. Yes, that's right. Raiden.
Raiden, absolutely. And look, with Raiden, you know, there's so many opportunities you can do with your super now. I mean, imagine putting a property in your super now and then letting it sit there for 10 years or 20 years. You're gonna double, quadruple your money. So
That's
the whole
right.
idea is, I mean, wouldn't you like the opportunity when you get to 65 to have a property that's worth maybe 1.52 million? I mean, you go to sell it, you're not going to get capital gains tax, hello, because it's in your super. What a
Right.
not a bad option to have when you get to 65, hey? It's like first world problem, you know? So realistically, so cash and bonus equity. Yep, cash and the bonus is equity. Cash flow is what you want. Absolutely.
Mm.
So what are we trying to get to when we're saying all this stuff? And we've got here, highly recommend Ratem, self-managed setup and property. Perfect. Thank you very much. Just bring that up as well, Charmaine, that next
Yeah.
yeah, beautiful. So guys, if how do we get if anyone's looking at that kind of stuff, please reach out. How do we can get people to reach out? Just put
Just to
hash
hashtag wealth call if you're interested in having a chat when it comes to looking at other options for starting to think about your financial future, particularly with retirement. Have a little chat about your current situation to see if there's any way we can help you get a strategy in place. Because we do need to start taking that radical responsibility for our own lives and livelihood, and start to
absolutely.
think to ourselves, what kind of a retirement would I like? Can I retire early? I mean, look, if you're still young out there, I mean, you have great opportunity through property investing to retire early if you start now, and
Correct.
even if you're like myself, who started a little bit later in life,
Yep.
the fact that you can still get, a really comfortable retirement plan. I mean, when you've got all this time on your hands, you want to know that you've got the financial resources to really live it up. You don't want to have all this time on your hands and feel that you're limited just because you haven't planned ahead for your retirement, or you haven't planned ahead for your future.
Absolutely. And just to let you know, guys, the real with Raiden, with our membership, we actually have a circle of safety. And the circle of safety are chosen professionals that George
Right.
has personally chosen. Now, these guys are separate to our business guys, so they don't work under the heading of Positive Property. These guys go out and they've got their own businesses. They're just the best in the game. And what's happened is they're a part of our community and they look after all of our members regarding a whole range of different topics. I mean, we've got about 10, I think it's 10
Trusted
trusted
experts.
experts,
And they do
right?
the heavy
From
lifting for us, and for our members as well. And that's important to have that team of experts around you to keep you on track, to support you, and so forth.
absolutely, absolutely. So we've just got another question. Dylan's just texted in.
Yeah.
Should you always have debt on your
In your
portfolio working even if you have retired, or should you have bigger? Look, the whole idea is, you'd constantly pay. I mean, look, the whole idea is your passive income is actually helping pay off the property. It's all about getting the right structure. Thank you very much for your question, Dylan. It's all about having the right structure. And the system and the strategy behind your investment portfolio is realistically the key. And
correct.
look, I think there's three things that, guys, anyone out there that's thinking of buying a property, number one, you need the right system and strategy. That is paramount. Number two, you need to buy in the right areas and you need to buy high growth, positive geared properties. And number number three, you should, sorry, it's been a long day. Number three, you should always make sure you've got cash flow in that
Correct.
property. And guess what? You've got to do all of that before you buy it. And guess what? If you don't do any of those, or one of them, or two of them, or one of them, don't buy the property. It's really simple. It's really
Wow.
simple. It's not
Right.
rocket science, guys. Absolutely.
And look,
So,
having the is what gives you that peace of mind. Because when you have the strategy in place, it's peace of mind because you know exactly where you're at, where you're going, and you know all the steps leading up to it. You don't have to be thinking every day, where is everything at? How am I going to do everything? Because you're just following the strategy.
correct. Absolutely. Just bring up that next question, the next comment. Plan and act now, retire rich versus do nothing and retire on the age-old pension.
Radical
Absolutely. Responsibility. If you don't know what we're talking about, that's exactly what we're talking about right there, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely. I love it. Yes.
Another one must be one of our members. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. So, yes, the circle of safety is amazing with Positive Property. I didn't even need to read my contract. Yeah, beautiful. I mean, look, it's having the right professionals around you that are there to support you. It's your safety net. Guys, anyone, even if you're not a part of our membership, if you're just watching this and you're an investor, you need the chosen experts around you. They are your team. You can't, this is not a game of table tennis, guys. When you're dealing with investment properties, you need the right team around you. And they're there to support you and look after you. And you need to learn how to delegate that, you know. So how much you need to get started now, I don't know what you're talking about. Self-managed super funds. Are you talking about retirement?
Just put hashtag wealth call and one of our team can reach out to you.
Yeah, if you want to get a bit more specific, just put hashtag wealth call and one of our lovely team will give you a call and have a lovely little chat with you and just see exactly what you're looking for and whether we can help you with, because guys, we are actually a community and our members are our tribe. But we've got a range of different people around us that support our tribe, and that's our community. And we're more than happy to share that, you know. So by doing a wealth call, we'll be able to guide you in the right direction. And if we can help you, we will. If we can't, we can definitely give you the right advice as to what you can do in the future to really get you to the next level. I think you need to, look, guys, there's a lot of strategies out there when it comes to self-managed super funds. So, and I would probably say that, you know, if you want to get a copy of the self-managed live that we did, let us know. Maybe put self-managed sorry, I'm a bit tired today. Self-managed super fund hashtag call. We'll be able to give you some information. Because, guys, you've got to get educated. I don't know what's right for you. Everyone's different. There's so many different strategies out there when it comes to self-managed super funds. You can actually join with other people. I've heard you can join up to 4 or 5 people to get a house together. I mean, imagine that. You just got to make sure you're all really good friends. Things don't go to shit, excuse the expression, but you want to make sure you can trust them, all right? You only need 150 in super to get a property. Yep, that's, you know, there's a lot of different strategies out there and you need to get the right advice for you because we're all kind of, it's great that this community, everyone's throwing out their answers, fantastic, but realistically, everyone's different. And the way that we treat members when they come in, like it's like having everyone's just a big Rubik's Cube and our job is to depuzzle you and get you on the right track, get all the colours in the right way, and that might take a month, 2 months. I mean, we get members that join up with 5 or 6 existing properties. We've got to do some house cleaning. We've got to do some house cleansing on their portfolio before we can even think about getting them an investment property. So everyone's on different levels, and it's really important that you understand where you're at. And in saying that, we should talk about our 14-day challenge as well. Because, guys, 14-day challenge, this is a do-it-yourself program. And it's a really good chance if you don't want to coach, if you don't want to mentor, you just want to do it yourself, I say kudos to you, more power to you, but you need to get yourself educated on what's expected as being an investor and how you can create your own blueprint. So there we go. There's your first step. If you're not doing anything, here's one step towards radical responsibility. Sign up for our 14-day challenge. Absolutely.
And it's great because it takes you through the various steps in property investing. Around each step in the property investment journey, it enables you to create your own strategy and a bit of an action plan. And the best part about it is when you get to the end of the 14-day challenge, you're going to be in one of 2 positions. You're either one, you're investor ready, and you now have your own action plan, your own strategy that you can go off and begin to implement. And if you're not investor ready, you know exactly where the gaps are and what steps you need to start taking now to get yourself investor ready. And that is super important. And if you are interested in the challenge, if you just put into the comments, hashtag challenge,
challenge.
we'll send you out a link to have a look at it. Even if you're sitting on the fence, you're not sure if you're ready for a coach yet or a mentor, just, get into that challenge, learn all about our
Or
strategies, get to
if
know
you're, if
us.
you're correct, and even if you're an investor already, or you're thinking about starting in the next year or so, this is your
Correct.
chance now to invest in yourself before you go out investing in property.
Yeah.
And even if you say just put hashtag challenge, we'll send you the link. Go on the link and just go and look at all the testimonials. There's hundreds of people that have done this program before, and those people, some of them have become members. Some people have gone off and done amazing other things. So, it's really important that you get yourself, because really you are number one at this stage. You are your best investment is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we're talking about radical responsibility tonight, kids, because we're really talking about it, because that's right. We're talking about that. Absolutely. Just bring up Dylan just wrote, thanks for all the advice. Dylan, thank you so much for being a part of it. Look, it's your comments that can keep us going, because, we're here to help you guys. And now the cost of the challenge.
Yeah, well, so the cost of the challenge is, sorry, go B.
No, you go.
So the cost of the challenge is $97. So it's not a huge investment.
However, there is another option. There is another option. You can sign up for the challenge, and it's free, and you only pay at the end if you think it's worth it.
Correct.
All right. So once you do the challenge, at the end of that challenge, if you don't think it's worth the money, you let us know. All right. So,
and also, it's full money back guarantee. So if you do decide to pay the $97 up front, if it's not the best property investment course you've ever done, George is really clear with this. He's more than happy to refund your money. No questions asked. So we are taking radical responsibility and taking all the risk off you, just so that we can get more people educated in property and property investing to really support, their freedom. Because one of our values, which is, everybody wins, part of that is also building a better world. And George is really passionate about building a better world. So this is why we have, the Ask George Anything on Thursday, so that he can give, to help, all of you understand more about property investing. This is one way that he's able to give, an active service. And then the challenge as well. It's another great opportunity. We just want to help bring that education and support as many Australians as we can, because our bigger mission is to empower, 10,000 Australians to achieve financial freedom using the McCoskey method, successfully investing in property. And this is a real big goal that George has, and you're all a part of that, being a part of this community. So, it's time to step up to the plate and ask yourself the question, am I ready to take radical responsibility in my life?
Absolutely.
And actually take action. You need to take an action. You can't just think it.
Absolutely. And just bring the next one up. It says, just do it. It was the best thing I ever done. Thank you. We've only got Facebook users, so I don't know. And Dylan, how old was George when he retired? Okay, so Dylan, this is a story. So George started in his 20s when he was doing his first investing. Now, he did make a lot of mistakes in his 20s, as you could imagine, young and bit of a pioneer, got a few arrows in his back, a couple of little scars there from probably making the wrong decisions and maybe losing a bit of money. However, when he got to 37, he actually got to retire, and that's when he had 10 positive geared properties. However, it took him from his 20s till 37 to get there. So he retired when he was 37, and he traveled the world. He met his beautiful wife, Christina. He did all this stuff, but then obviously he got to a stage where, look, I always say that he probably got bored that he had no one to play with. He had no one to play with. Why? Because all of his age group were working 9 to 5, and he was doing nothing. So that's when he decided to write his book, Freedom Through Property, which went Amazon bestseller in 4 different countries. And if you've got a copy of it, there we go. Beautiful. Freedom Through Property. You can get that on Amazon.
Yeah.
However, if you join our 14-day challenge, we actually do a lot of little buzzers and things like that. And the reality was we can give away that's a chance to actually get a free copy of that book. So, look, he did retire on $180,000 passive income. That was just for getting out of bed. Then he wrote his book. And then from the book, obviously, you know, people started coming out and saying, please coach me, coach me. He did that for a while free, but what was happening was he had so many people that he was actually working into a full-time job without actually being paid for it. So that's why he obviously created this business. And guess who runs this company? His members. George hasn't been at business, been at work for the last couple of weeks, and we're all running it. We're all active in members. All the coaches are members. We've all been coached by George. We know his stuff really well. You know, Charmaine's a member. Our admin staff are a member. You know, everyone involved in this company is actually members. So we've had, you know, success through positive gearing. And look, Dylan, if you think that's too much money, that's fine. You know, because the reality is he did 10 positive geared properties. You can stop at 5. If you were to stop at 5 today, if you did 5 up your sleeve, that's $125,000 a year just for getting out of bed.
That's right.
Now, Dylan, I don't know how much you earn, but your first number one goal should be replacing your income. That should be it. Now, if you decide you want to keep buying property after you're replacing your income, well, that's just bonus town for you if you want to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, so everyone in positive property, we're all investors ourselves. We're all members as well. And, you know, we're working with George and Positive Property and Christina because we're really passionate about the vision and the mission that George is passionate about. You know, we work, and you know, our income enables us to look good on pen and paper for banks, so we can continue to buy investment properties. But you know,
Absolutely.
we're not relying on our superannuation or our wage to create our lifestyle and that freedom. We're putting all that radical responsibility on ourselves as investors to build that for ourselves and our families and our families' in the future.
And Dylan, I'm really glad you said that might be a bit too much, $180,000 a year for just getting out of bed. But there's so many other options. You know, I've actually had members that say, Belinda, oh, there we go, 100% agree. Thanks, Dylan. Awesome. And, you know, thank you for being a part of it. You know, it's people like you that, you know, get out there and get those questions because, believe it or not, Dylan, you're probably asking the same questions that probably another 20 other people are is going through their mind as well. So thank you very much for contributing and being a part of it. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, look, we're going to radical responsibility. It's so important, guys. You've got to put yourself first. You know, they say, what is that old saying? You can't love anyone until you love yourself.
That's right. Yep.
And loving yourself is really important.
Starts with
it's all about you.
Correct.
Starts with you guys, and you've got to get out there and you've got to create a blueprint. And it's not just about money, guys. You know, it can be anything.
The whole
health,
of life, you know,
happiness,
your health, your
relationships. Here we go. Now we're competing with each other. Who's got the microphone? So there's so many areas of goal setting and life that you want to look for. There's 7 areas, you know, spirituality, health, you know, financial is just one of them. We're only tapping on a little bit, but realistically, happiness, friendships, relationships, family. I mean, there's so much out. There's things that you need to consider, and if you want to make that happen, create a blueprint.
Correct. You know, I mean,
and guess what we do? We do that on the 14-day challenge. You do a goal setting session.
That's right.
Come and do a goal setting session with us. Even if you join up, do the goal setting session, and that's it. Happy days.
You know, just
there we go.
Sorry.
Goals can achieve with extra funds. There we
Correct.
go. Yeah.
You know, if you can take away anything from today, just think to yourself, what's one thing in your life right now, just one thing that you can take radical responsibility on and take action. Just one thing.
Guess what?
With that.
I want you to do it. Just do it. Be the night tick. Just do it.
Even put it into our Facebook group, you know, after this live, just, you know, so that the community of the Australian Property Chat keeps you accountable. Just type a post and say, I'm choosing to be radically responsible for this. You fill in the gap and just write something, and then the community here will support you, keep you accountable, lovingly and kindly, please.
That's exactly right. Absolutely. next question. It just came up. You're
Are you
achieved
guys based in
Melbourne. Okay. So, well, I'm Melbourne based, but I'm up in Queensland at the moment, avoiding lockdown. So,
lockdown in Melbourne.
lockdown in Melbourne. But Dylan, just to let you know, all of our coaches and, you know, our members are obviously Australia-wide. Our pretty much head office was Adelaide because that's where George lives. But we're all over. But once lockdown's over, or even just at the end of it, I might be coming back. We used to have an office in South Melbourne next to the South Melbourne markets. But obviously with COVID, we had to close that down, and now we do everything via Zoom, which actually works out pretty good. I mean, realistically, now you don't have to jump in a car, go find a park, go meet up with your coach. Now you can sit there with a glass of wine in your pajamas, sit there, chat to your coach, and talk about
stand up.
And look, I was just doing a due diligence this afternoon, and they're sitting in their trackies, sitting back, looking at the cash flow calculator. We're showing them properties. Everyone's getting excited. Happy days, you know. They didn't have to get a babysitter. It's a beautiful thing. So guys, let's just recap, because we've got to go on to our member site in a minute, because we're hosting our weekly Sherp. And a Sherp is, you know, one of those Sherpas. They help people up the mountain. That's us. But we're doing coaching instead. So we're going to go on to that. So, guys, we're going to put out a challenge out there. You need to do something that's radical responsibility towards your life, your goals, your future, and make it happen. You know, even if it means doing a goal setting, writing it down. If it's not written, it's not real. So you need to write it down.
And property, make it a post so that you keep yourself accountable, because now it's written, it's real, and you've got the community there that's witnessing it as well.
Correct. Absolutely. And, you know, it's really important that, you know, you look after yourself, and, you know, we're all freedom fighters here. We're on this site because we're all like-minded. You know, we wouldn't be here if we weren't like-minded, and we've all got, you know, different goals. But realistically, I mean, if you're into positive gearing and investments and things like that, you know, that this is our vehicle, guys. You know, this is our vehicle, and it's good to be around like-minded people. And look, we're hoping that George is going to come back very soon. We're praying that George is going to get better. We're sending out positive, Georgie, get better vibes. Let's get him fit and strong so he can start taking back these lives, and we can ask George anything, because when it comes down to property, he is the guru.
Correct.
And what makes him the guru, guys? I'll tell you why it makes him the guru, because he's got real life results.
Correct. Runs on the board.
He's got runs on the board. And I don't know about you, but if you're going to get a coach, you want to make sure he's pretty much the best in his field before you employ someone. And that comes down to, it's not just property, guys. It's, you know, if you wanted someone for health or diet or, you know, anything, you know, I hope George recovers too. Yeah, we do too.
Yeah.
We do too.
He's getting better every day. So
he is, guys.
Definitely he's getting better every day.
It's just a bit of a slow process at the moment, and that's fine. That just kind of helps him with his full recovery. And, you know, he's going to be well. We're going to get him back and strong again. No eating Maccas.
Look, he does it anyway. But
he does it anyway. Seriously. If he was to eat Maccas, seriously, he'd be on the couch. He'd be on the toilet for like a week and a half. And he's just not that type of guy. Yes. Get your advice from someone. Put that next one in, darling. Get your advice someone with an MBA. That's right, MBA, massive bank account.
Awesome.
Or QBA, qualified by experience. The stuff that we're teaching in our courses and our coaching and our roadmap, that we help people making little baby steps to achieve financial freedom. This is stuff that's not taught in schools.
No.
So it's not taught in schools. So you've got to go through people who are actually doing it. And that's who your coach is. I mean, imagine this. If you wanted a body like Arnold Schwarzenegger, If you wanted a body like, imagine having him as your coach.
That's right.
Now, imagine if you wanted the best golf swing, imagine Greg Norman, getting Greg Norman to teach you golf. Now, if you want to get into positive gearing, positive property, financial freedom, do the right steps, get the right properties, have the right strategy, you get George Markoski. He's the man.
That's right. Awesome. Well, we better wrap it up. If there's any last
We
questions
do.
now.
Someone just wrote just the quick next one because that's hilarious. Tell him to lay off the fasting. I don't know who wrote that, but that's hilarious. They know George very well then. They must know George very well because he likes to fast. Anyway, guys, it's been great seeing you. Let's just recap. Tonight, we talked about radical responsibility and your financial freedom because that's what it's all about. Take charge. You are the cause of your actions. You're the cause of everything in this world. Once you take total ownership, you're going to have massive freedom and be at the cause. Get your goals, create a blueprint, and remember, there's people around to help you. Do the 14-day challenge. That would be my best advice. It's a lot of fun. You're going to learn a lot. It's going to give you a chance to create your own blueprint. It's only one module a day for 14 days, 2 weeks of your life. Anyone in Melbourne? We're in lockdown anyway. You might as well study and invest. You've got the time. So there's no excuses. And we look forward to seeing you, wonderful people. Thank you so much for your comments, interacting. That's what keeps us going. It's activity breeds activity here at Positive Property and the Australian Property Chat Group and all the other little areas we're going to. And we look forward to seeing you next week, same bat time, same property channel here at Positive Property Australian Chat Group. Awesome. Have a great night, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. You've been awesome. Mwah.
Thank you for listening. I'm grateful for all our listeners around the world. If you found this podcast valuable, please share with someone that might find this useful, and please join our tribe of purpose-driven investors, increasing income and impact in our Facebook group, Positive Property. Please note, with a multi-million-dollar property portfolio and a passive income, I've become incredibly successful in investing in property. The fact of it is, however, many people may find investing in property challenging. It's not easy, and it takes a lot of hard work. However, becoming educated to make an informed decision and having the right advisors gives you the tools you need to succeed. The most important part of this formula, however, is to actually take action and apply that knowledge. It is important to understand the information I share is of a general nature only and is not taking into account your unique circumstances. If you're considering investing in any asset class, you need to seek the advice of an independent professional advisor who will be able to look at your specific situation. Be sure your advisor has actually achieved the kind of results you're seeking. Many won't have, so beware. We've taken great care putting those educational resources together. We'd be surprised if you didn't find any errors or omissions. If you do, our legal team says we have to say we're not responsible for those. In fact, as with all things, even your success, we're not responsible. That responsibility always has and always will come down to you and the actions you take. We're passionate about supporting you in that process and helping you increase your ability to create wealth, live the life you desire, and provide all the things you dream of for you and your family.